Hi, it's Sam Waterfall here from Obvious Candidate. What I wanted to do in this short video is tell you a way that you can accelerate your job search. And this is absolutely proven, a proven way to accelerate your job search and start to get new opportunities literally being brought to you. So if that sounds useful, listen on. I'm going to tell you exactly how to make that happen. Now, you've probably heard of networking. And you might like the idea of networking or you might not like it. You may have tried it or you might struggle to actually realize its significance for your job search. I think it's something for other people. You may hate the idea of networking, that idea of schmoozing and exchanging business cards with strangers. But I want you to put aside that idea of meeting rooms full of strangers, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. This is going to be different to that and it's going to be much easier, much more pleasant. So I think you might actually rather like this. Now, it turns out that you actually have two types of connections. You have strong ties and you have weak ties. Now, your strong ties are those people closest to you, your immediate family, your immediate friends, and those colleagues you're closest to at work. Then you also have a second group, your weak ties, and these are the people you don't see so often. They're still trusted connections, but they're further away. You don't see them on such a regular basis. They might be living far away from you these days. And so far, there's nothing remarkable about having people who you're close to and people who are further away. But this is where it gets interesting, because you see there was a professor, Professor Mark Granovetter from Stanford University, and in 1973, Professor Granovetter wrote a paper called The Strength of Weak Ties. It was a long and complex paper, but the outtake of this in terms of your job search is it's your weak ties that bring you almost every new opportunity, every new idea, every new relationship, every new connection. So what I want you to do is to start to work on harnessing the power of your relationships with your weak ties. Start spending more time on this. Start actively managing these relationships. And you may have experienced it yourself where you go along to a conference, you hear a speaker, and they introduce a new idea. Or maybe you go to a friend's wedding, you meet a friend of a friend, and maybe that turns into a new partner for you. Or it might be that very middle class phenomenon these days where you go and you spend a weekend with friends, but you come back with a new food intolerance or something because you discovered the way that they're eating is different from the way that you've been eating, and you decide to try out their new diet. So it's our weak ties that become the source of very many of our new ideas and new behaviors. But the question is, of course, how do we put this to work for your career? Well, I'm sure in terms of careers, you've heard those people that say, well, I've never needed a CV, I've always just found my next job, it's always come from my connections. Well, that might be true, it might be you as well, but you can actually start to actively manage this and really make it happen. So to put this to work in your job search is actually going to be easier than you might think. And one of the ways to do that is by using LinkedIn. Now, you may already be on LinkedIn, I hope you are, and you've perhaps already got lots of connections, but are you actively using it to manage your weak ties? Because it's a brilliant way, of course, of keeping in touch with those people who are further afield, who are geographically far away from you, who are in different industries. If you start sharing through LinkedIn, if you start doing a weekly post, start endorsing people so that they realize that you're thinking of them, maybe write them some recommendations, people who've done good jobs in projects you've been part of. Start sharing, start giving to your network, and make sure you're doing it on topic. So you need to be building your own personal brand, and that means operating in a particular field so they see you as an expert, the go-to person for knowledge in that area. So the most important thing is to make sure you start giving to your network. So now you've understood this concept of weak ties, let me give you 8 action points to put this to action and make sure that this really starts to drive your job search. So first off, it's all about mindset. What I want you to do is start giving, okay? Give to your network. Make sure that you're sharing regularly, that you're actually putting ideas out to your network. So first off then is the mindset. Always be giving. Remember, givers gain. Secondly, follow up regularly. Actually start caring for your network. Make sure if you see something you're sharing, okay? That's all about caring and following up regularly. Thirdly, follow up with individuals. If you see something that it would be helpful to a former colleague or someone else who you met at a conference, take that link if it's from the internet, share it with them or email them. Pick up the phone to them, but start activating your network and start giving to them. Fourthly is start growing your weak ties network. So actively add new people into it. When you go to an event, when you go somewhere else, bring these people into your network, actively keep in touch with them, because that way you have got a bigger network to share with. Especially this is important if you're trying to enter into a new sector or into a new geography. Make sure that you're adding new sectors. If you want to move your job into a new area, if you want to go and start working in New York City, start adding people in New York City. They're going to be the weak ties who can connect you with the right people in that location. Likewise with a different industry, add people from that industry. Point number 5 is ask for help. Okay, now you've been doing all this giving, people realize they've received good information from you. It's now your turn to receive, so ask. Okay, make sure you ask them for exactly what you want. So this is point number 6. Be specific about what you want to ask for. If you want a particular job in a particular place, let your network know, your trusted connections, that you're looking for that job in that location. Point number 7 is be patient, because they won't necessarily have that job as a connection straight away. But what might happen is that at least one of these people, if you speak to 10 or 20 or 30, they're going to be connected to someone who does have knowledge of that kind of opportunity. And you start finding these ideas come to you. So be patient is point number 7. Finally, point number 8 is take action today. Start this immediately. What can you give to your network today? What can you share with them? If you've been passive on LinkedIn and just using it as a big online address book, don't do that. That's not how to get the power out of your network. If you want to accelerate your job search, apply the strength of weak ties. You're going to be very glad that you did. It's going to bring new opportunities into your world. It's worked for me. It's worked for many of my clients. I'm sure it's going to work for you too. I wish you every success. This is Sam Waterfall from Obvious Candidate, wishing you a very accelerated job search. Good luck with that.